Well, hi everyone. My name is David McLeod, and I am your lifemasterycoach.com. I do deep and powerful work with adult men and women who are seeking to move beyond their limitations in order to create the lives of their dreams. It's a real delight and pleasure for me to be here today as part of the Wellness Universe mini retreat panel. And I'm really touched listening to both Leah and Nicole and noticing how we all seem to be moving in a consistent direction. And in fact, I know that this panel is really, or this event is really all about supporting World Mental Health Day. But I have a belief that we can't really focus attention on our mental health without also considering physical, emotional, and spiritual health as well. And that's why I want to share with you my perspective on embracing your holistic nature. Now, this is actually a really deep topic. So my intention today is just to offer a high-level overview and then maybe leave you with a simple tool that you can use to take advantage of some of this knowledge. To begin with, I believe, and this has come to me as a result of some of the deep personal growth work that I've done over many, many years, but I believe that we're all divine, magnificent spiritual beings of light and love, sharing a common but temporary human experience on the physical plane. Now, most of you will relate to this, I'm sure. Shortly after we arrive here in our physical form, we all seem to go through some pretty intense conditioning that, leads us to forget or perhaps disconnect from our connection to our spiritual nature. We slip into the illusion of separateness as we go about the task of figuring out how to live our lives. And in the process, by the time we reach our 30s or 40s, or even later for some of us slowpokes, we begin to question who we are and why we are here. And this is usually what leads us back to reconsider our spiritual side once again. We reconnect to a deep knowing that we are somehow made up not only of physical matter, but also of spiritual energy. In our human experience, we all seem to operate within 4 primary activity states. These are feeling, doing, thinking, or being. Now, if you consider all of the myriad ways you show up in the world, I think you can see that you're always engaged in at least one of those activity states at any given moment. And this is true no matter what the actual activity might be. Well, coincidentally, these 4 activity states correspond with 4 primary energy archetypes that everyone also has access to. You may have heard of these archetypes. Now, I'm talking about the lover, the warrior, the magician, and the sovereign. The lover archetype takes the responsibility for holding emotional awareness and relating to others through connection and empathy. The warrior archetype takes the responsibility for holding sensory awareness and providing service and protection by declaring and honoring boundaries. The magician archetype takes the responsibility for holding mental awareness and using the powers of perception, interpretation, rationality, and logic to navigate through life. The sovereign archetype takes the responsibility for holding universal conscious awareness and maintaining a vision for your life. This is the seat of your intuition. Now, if you think of all these archetypes in relation to the activity states I mentioned a moment ago, then you can see that there's a connection between them through the experiential elements of heart, body, mind, and soul. And these together are the components that make up your true holistic nature. So we end up with a set of 4 associations consisting of 3 components each. Now, if you imagine these associations arranged around a circle, then you'd have something like this. Over here in the east quadrant, you would have the lover, heart, feeling element. Down here in the south quadrant, you'd have the warrior, body, doing element. Over here in the west quadrant, you'd have the magician, mind, thinking element. And up here in the north quadrant, you'd have the sovereign, soul, being element. So I call this circular arrangement my sacred council. This is actually a whole lot more, that is to say, there's a lot more that I could say about this sacred council, but I'm trying to keep it simple for today's presentation. Now, If you really understand and embrace this circular structure in your life, you'll realize that you have access to all of these sacred archetypes within you all the time. Each quadrant in the circle provides a unique perspective based on the vantage point of the energy archetype that resides there. And all of these archetypes together provide you with guidance towards your greatest good. Now, you may recall that Leah talked a little bit about tuning in to inner wisdom. And that's, in my mind, that's precisely what you're doing here. So the tool I want to share with you today, I call it holistic light breath. It is a powerful combination of visualizing, intentional breathing, and journaling that can really help you with healing, expansion, and growth. The whole process usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes, but you can go longer if you want to, especially if you want to get more out of it. For today, I'm just going to walk you through a very, very quick demo, but you can get the details and practice this on your own and expand out the time. So, what do you need to do this? Well, first, you need a quiet place of contemplation where you won't be disturbed. Second, you need a chair or a cushion or something to sit on that's comfortable for you. Third, you need a journal and a pen. And finally, you need an organic, non-electrical light source. Now, this is important. I mean, sure, we can use regular light bulbs and flashlights and stuff, but I recommend instead that you use an organic light source. You can use the sun if it's available. Of course, you don't want to be looking directly in the sun, but the sun is still a powerful tool. At night, you can use the moon, especially if you've got a full moon that's low in the sky. A fire pit is another alternative if you have access to one of those. But I think something that almost everybody has is some kind of a candle, kind of like this. This is a candle that I like to use. It's awesome. And I like these size because they burn with a pretty large flame, and it's really easy for me to use it. So the idea is this. To prepare, you settle into your sacred space. Sit down on your chair or your cushion, light the candle, and then just place it in front of you. I'd like to do that. I don't know if you can actually see this if I'm putting it. No, you won't be able to see it if I put it on my table in front of me, so I'm not going to bother. But the idea is you light the candle and you put it right in front of you. Have your journal handy and open to an open page or brand new page, and then just put it down on the floor beside you. Let your hands relax in your lap and bring your visual focus to the flame of your candle. Take a few deep breaths, sharpen your attention, and as you breathe, imagine that you are inhaling the light from this candle or whatever organic source you're using. Allow your eyes to close slightly, but not completely. Keep them open just enough so that you can see the flickering flame in front of you. Try to keep your focus on that flame the whole time. As you continue with your deep breathing, set your intention for this session. I like to say things like the following. Now, you can use these words or you can use something different if you like, but whatever comes from your heart. I like to look into that flame and I'll say something like this. I come here into the divine light of universal spirit. I invite and welcome my sacred council to join me and commune with me in this space and to share with me whatever wisdom I need to know at this time. I invite and welcome the sacred light into my holistic being to elevate my consciousness and bring peace and grace to my heart, body, mind, and soul. I welcome the sweet flow and gratitude that permeate my holistic essence. So you can use something like that, or you can make up your own words, but whatever comes from your heart, remember you're inviting in the support of your sacred council and you're wanting to bring peace and love to your holistic being. So continue with several deep breaths and feel yourself becoming more and more attuned to this sacred light symbolized by the flame in front of you. Allow yourself to experience the depth of your own being. And now we're going to begin a series of 4 individual light breath mantras. Okay? Mantra number 1. Again, continue focusing your vision on the flame in front of you and simultaneously bring your attention, your inner attention, to your heart. You want to do 10 slow, deep breaths. On each inhale, say to yourself, I illuminate and expand. On each exhale, say to yourself, my compassionate and loving heart. Inhale, I illuminate and expand. Exhale, my compassionate and loving heart. I illuminate and expand my compassionate and loving heart. Now you continue this for at least 10 long, slow breaths and just keep that focus going. At the end of that cycle, continue breathing and inhaling the light and keep your attention focused on your heart and notice in your awareness if it seems to have a message for you. Don't take too much time worrying about the message, whether there is one or there isn't. Just notice if there is one, be open and available for it. Also, try to remember it, okay? Once you've done that, now we move on to mantra number 2. As before, you continue focusing your attention on the flame in front of you, and now you're going to bring your inner attention to your body, your entire body. So you want to do 10 slow, deep breaths again, and on each inhale, you say to yourself, I illuminate and heal. On each exhale, you say to yourself, my powerful and resilient body. Inhale, I illuminate and heal. Exhale, my powerful and resilient body. I illuminate and heal my powerful and resilient body. So again, continue until you've completed at least 10 long, slow breaths, and then focus your attention on your body and listen carefully to see if there might be a message there for you. Again, just listen, be open, receptive, and then remember it. Then we move on to mantra number 3, which now obviously we're moving to the mind space, okay? So you're going to continue focusing your vision on the flame in front of you and simultaneously bring your attention to your mind. 10 more slow, deep breaths. On the inhale, say to yourself, I illuminate and purify. On the exhale, say to yourself, my infinitely creative mind. Inhale, I illuminate and purify. Exhale, my infinitely creative mind. I illuminate and purify my infinitely creative mind. Once more, you want to finish up with 10 long, slow breaths in that cycle. When you're done, pay attention to your mind, just listen carefully and notice if there might be a new message for you. Remember it. Mantra number 4 now. This is the big one and the one that everybody loves the most, I think. Continue focusing your attention on the flame in front of you and simultaneously bring your inner attention to your soul. Now, for me, how you decide to imagine your soul is up to you, but what really works for me is I imagine my soul as a beautiful, gigantic golden sphere that surrounds me and embraces me and envelops me completely. So you can imagine what works best for you. So again, do 10 slow, deep breaths. And on the inhale, you say to yourself, I illuminate and embrace. On the exhale, say to yourself, my boundless, joyful soul. Inhale, I illuminate and embrace. Exhale, my boundless, joyful soul. I illuminate and embrace my boundless, joyful soul. So once again, you've got 10 breaths that you're trying to do, at least 10. And at the end, listen carefully for a message. Now, as I said, you may or may not get messages. Don't worry about that. That's not important. But now, once you've completed all 4 of these breathing cycles, what you're going to do is you're going to just gently slow down, pick up your journal, and just start writing. What did you learn? What messages did you receive? What new wisdom showed up in your awareness? Just write down everything that comes to you in that moment. And I think that even if you didn't hear an actual message from any one of those 4 components, something will come up during that time. So take as much time as you need for the journaling. Don't skimp on journaling time. Now, when you're done writing, and you'll know when the time is right, just put your journal down and take a moment to bring your visual attention back to the candle flame. Close out your session with a powerful statement of gratitude. Now, your words will come differently, but this is what I like to say, something along this line. I am grateful to Universal Spirit for filling me with the divine light and wisdom, and for the healing and expansion that come from that. I am grateful to my sacred council for being present and sharing powerful messages of love with me. I am grateful for this wondrous journey as a divine, magnificent, unlimited spiritual being of light and love, engaged in a temporary, holistic human experience. That's the process. That's the tool. You can do this as often as you like. I recommend trying to do it, once a day. Try it for a week and see what happens, and just notice what comes up for you. I'm open to